strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
From baffling missing 411 cases that leave us questioning reality to the elusive and legendary creatures like Bigfoot, we are here to discuss it all.
By God, if a hand come from the other side of that fence, grab this thing by the head and neck, just one-timed it.
1 o'clock in the morning, I'm awakened by lights, bright lights. I'm talking about, Josh, the lights were so bright, it looked like daytime, so I thought it was the morning.
There's just something going around, attacking our sheep. And my grandma used to talk about this guy, Ketso, that means, Bigfoot in our language, so.
If you have ever found yourself captivated by the unexplained or intrigued by the mysterious, you are in the right place. Welcome to Mysteries Unknown. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mysteries Unknown. Got my co-host here with me, Daniel. You can't hear me? Oh, no. He's got to get this figured out. Every time we go live and we play something, he can't hear when there's a video playing. But anyways, glad you guys are here. We got a good show for you guys planned. Got my coffee as always. But tonight we're going to be talking more about missing 411 cases and maybe the correlation between that and Bigfoot and Dogman. I've got a lot of encounters that we've pulled up. Daniel, as usual, has done a lot of research. And let's see. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. We'll get it together, guys. I promise. It's a lot different when things are live. There's always something that goes wrong. But listen, guys, it's going to be a good show because I've got my coffee. And you never know what kind of mug I'm going to get either. Check out this mug. My wife buys me these really cool mugs. Sherlock Holmes. You got your Mountain Dew, don't you? What do you got?
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. All right. Well, I know that you've been doing a lot of research for this live, and you're going to be talking about some missing 411 cases that you've particularly pulled up. But before we do any of that, guys, just a couple of housekeeping things. For this whole month, just in case you didn't hear, if you become a member, $2.99 or above, you're going to get a gift package in the mail from my wife, from us here at Mysteries Unknown, just to say thank you for being here. So make sure to send me your address, and we'll be sending those out at the end of this month. So if you've already done that and haven't sent me your address yet, make sure to email it. And I'm going to drop my email here at the bottom. So it's mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. So make sure that you guys sign up for that. But I appreciate everybody and all the support. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that video we dropped Monday, man. What'd you think about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, man.
That dude, he was super chill.
Wasn't he? Like he was so chill.
Super laid back. It is funny. He's in North Carolina, but he had that vibe like he was from California. So
I know, dude. He was a really cool guy, man, and super, super chill. But man, we got a lot of people in the chat. Taff the Wanderer is here. What's up, Taff? Guys, I got to shout his channel out. He does a lot of D&D paintings and stuff. So he takes the D&D characters and he paints them and does lives. You guys need to go check out his channel. Really good guy. We got Flower Child in the room tonight, and I know you got a friend that's jumped on here.
I do. I got Sweet Lou in the chat, man. He's my buddy. He's going at Detroit Red Wing. That's his screen name, but
awesome.
Yeah, he's one of my. We were talking about today's Detroit Red Wings is his name, but. We were talking about, I said, hey, man, did you catch that live that I sent you? And he goes, no, I didn't get a chance to. I said, we got another one tonight. And he goes, man, I just love this bleep. He goes, it's awesome. So.
Awesome. Well, welcome aboard, man. I'm glad you're here. And we got, we got Daryl here. It says, hey, what's up, Daryl? Sean Russ is here. Excited to see you guys. Louisville Charlie is here. So yeah, we're excited about the podcast tonight, and I'm glad you guys are here. Oh, Flower Child, you missed Monday. Hey, listen, you didn't have you don't have to go. You can go back and watch it. You didn't miss it. It wasn't alive. So every Monday I drop an interview. So you guys didn't miss it. You can go back and watch it. But Sean, Russ, what's going on, man? How's things going for you? But
good Inferno, Arkansas evening. How hot is it there right now?
Oh, dude, it's like it's been horrible today. I know that it like when I first got in my car this afternoon, I went and got something. It was 111 in my car when I first turned it on. So it's been really, really miserable. We've got that good thick humidity. So I don't know if you're tired of the heat. Comment below if you're already tired of the heat. It's cold in my house, so I've got a jacket on, and I'm actually kind of glad it gets a little warm with this jacket, but it feels good because it's cold in my house. But anyways, so tell us a little bit about these stories that you've got. I know you've researched them quite a bit. Awesome that we've got 24 people watching. So thanks to everybody here watching with us. Don't forget to comment, chat with us. We like to talk to you guys. Let us know if this is your first time here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So real quick, if I kind of get distracted, my brother-in-law, I tried to call him earlier because he took a couple limbs off of a tree that was
okay
where they were touching my roof, and I just called him to thank him for it today, and he didn't answer. So then he just calls me back today.
Yeah, of course.
I said, "Hey, we're doing a live podcast right now," and he goes, "Bro," he goes, "I cut myself shaving." He goes, "I can't get it to stop."
Oh, no.
LOL, just joking. So here's the story behind that. For those of you who do not know, on the side, I am a firearms instructor. And I was out at the gun club one day, and I was instructing like 35 women. We had they wanted to do like a pistol safety class, and that's my expertise are handguns and long guns. And my wife and my daughter were home. Well, my wife sends me this picture, and it's water in a bathtub, and it's like reddish pink. And she's like, "Honey, I cut myself shaving." She goes, "I can't get it to stop." And we're newly married. We're maybe 2 years married.
Oh, no, man.
And I flip out. I'm like, "Apply pressure, keep it elevated." I'm on my way home. And, and I'm like, going probably 100, 110 miles an hour, like legit on the way home. It took me about 10 minutes to get home, and it's usually like a 25, 30-minute drive. And I come whipping into the driveway, hit the button for the garage. The garage door starts opening up. I come running in, and I don't find nobody. Like, my house is empty. And I come running in. I remember I go, keep pressure on it, and I don't see anybody. And I go running from room to room, and there's my wife standing behind our son's bedroom door. And my daughter is on the other side of our bed near the window. So when you walk in, she's laying on the floor and you can't see her. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're like, they had this look. And so what had happened was they played a prank on me.
Oh, no, man.
And yeah. And so they were at the table playing a game. And all of a sudden we heard the garage door open up, and we looked at each other and went, "Oh no." And my daughter's like, "My dad's home." And she's like,
no, man.
And they scattered, And so, yeah, we were just talking about that the other day at breakfast. So yeah, so that's
great. That is great.
But I'm going to preference these missing 411s, okay? Because the last time that we did a 411, even when I posted, hey, we're doing a 411 on all these pages, and in some of the comments, people were like, there's no correlation, there's no relation with Dogman or Bigfoot, the missing 411.
Right.
I'm just going to preface this right now. We are not in any way, shape, or form saying that these missing 411 cases, I got 6 of them that I'm going to go through. We are not saying that Bigfoot, Dogman, Mothman, Peter Pan, or anybody else was involved in the disappearance of these people in these cases. Okay. These are just, we're bringing these cases to light because how they disappeared, it was under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
Any wounds or cuts or scrapes or whatever, they're unexplained. The distance that these people were from, from where they disappeared to where they were found, it's unfathomable.
So strange, man.
Right. So
well, and I will say that the thing that's kind of what we do at this channel is like we don't try to prove or disprove anything. Like I want to give people a safe platform to come on and share their experiences. But these stories, there's so much mystery to them. Like, is it a possibility? Yeah, it could be. But like Daniel said, we're not saying that is, but we're just putting it out there. Let you guys make your own conclusion. And Taft the Wanderer says it was definitely Peter Pan. So there you go. It could be. It could be. So good stuff, man.
Oh man,
good stuff. I love it. So yeah, man. Let's get into it, man.
Sure. So some of these actually go back quite a ways. Like we're talking 40 years, 50 years, something like that. Maybe older. So I'm looking at this one here. It's Tommy Jenkins. He went missing on May 4th, 1950, around noon. The location where he disappeared was Fort Lewis, Washington. So it was an Army base. He was between 2 or 3 years old. There's a discrepancy in the report. And we got I pulled all of these from the Missing 411 books by David. Is it Pilatus?
Pilatus. David Pilatus. Yeah.
Pilatus. Okay, so I'm giving him 100% credit on all these. So Fort Lewis is just 2 miles southwest of Tacoma, but has very wild region, specifically for the training of its soldiers. There are 33,000 acres, and the fort houses roughly 6,000 soldiers in 1950. It sits on the southeast side of the American Lake with Interstate 5 bisecting with property. The region of the fort that borders the lake is still quite wild and undeveloped. I can attest to that because I'm from that area. My little brother was born on Fort Lewis. My dad was stationed at Fort Lewis. We lived on Fort Lewis. Tommy Jenkins lived on Fort Lewis with his father and mother in the non-commissioned housing area about 1,500 feet from the American Lake. Reports vary on Tommy's age, stating anywhere between 2 and 3 years old. On May 4th, near noon, Tommy was outside playing with his neighbor's Irish setter named Lassie. One soldier reported he saw the boy and the dog playing in a gravel quarry not far from his residence. This was not confirmed. When Tommy did not come home, a search initiated. The commander of Fort Lewis pulled every available soldier to search for Tommy Jenkins. Over 6,000 men and women covered every inch of the base looking for the small boy, focusing on areas near the gravel pit and the region near the beach and water. They found nothing. The commander put helicopters and planes in the air. They also found nothing. 3 different bloodhound teams were brought into the base in an attempt to pick up his scent. The dogs found also nothing. On the 3rd day of searching, and in an area previously searched, numerous times searchers heard sounds near the beach. The men fought their way through the heavy brush to find Tommy and Lassie playing on the beach of American Lake, alive and well. On May 8th, 1950, articles in the Saskatchewan Star Phoenix had the following about Tommy being found. Major Artie N. Heap, Fort Lewis Provost Marshal, said Saturday that the 3-year-old Tommy Jenkins, who had been missing for 2 days, had been found alive and well. He apparently had been kidnapped, Major Heap said, and returned to the point to which he was picked up. Later in the same article, there was another quote from the Army official. No 3-year-old boy could have survived 2 nights in the open with weather as we've had in the last 48 hours. During this time that Tommy had been missing, temperatures were down to the low 40s and there was sporadic rainfall. Sergeant William Jenkins attempted to question his son about the disappearance, but didn't get clear answers. The boy did state that he had slept in areas where there were no homes. He stated that he had fallen in a creek with the dog, yet the boy and the dog were completely dry. There were other statements made by Army officials confirming that Tommy did not believe they did not believe Tommy had been in the area where he had been found for the previous 48 hours. They also confirmed that the boy was in too good a physical condition to be out in the elements for the entire time that he was missing. The Independent Record of Helena, Montana, ran an article on May 6th about Tommy being found. Reporters attempted to question Miss Jenkins about Tommy and how he could be found in such a phenomenal condition. And she said, "I can't understand it. I just can't understand it." Now, Fort Lewis is in Pierce, Washington. Washington State has the highest reported events, sightings
Right.
of Sasquatch in all of the United States. I mean, the last one, it's close to 1,000. Now, I hear people all the time on think, "Oh, well, Michigan's number one with 3,000 sightings or reports." No, Washington State is the hub of the Sasquatch community.
Yeah, it's not even close anywhere else. I mean, it is the place. Like, it's
right.
The place. Yeah.
And Pierce County is the highest county where they are reported.
I wonder why.
Last I looked was like 84. Well,
I know.
Why Pierce County?
I know you're from there. Like, I know you grew up there and you had an encounter there. But what is that county like? I've never been there, so I don't know.
Well, that county is huge. It is it's one of the biggest counties in Washington. And it is, well, you have Mount Rainier.
Okay.
Mount Rainier's in that whole area around the foothills of Mount Rainier. And then if you just kind of branch out, you've got towns like PL and Yelm and
Gotcha.
Roy and Graham, where I had my first sighting, Puyallup, Tacoma, Stillicum,
Gotcha.
Federal Way. So it's huge. It is a giant location, has tons and tons of forests there. So
Gotcha. Perfect spot for something like that. Hey, I want to, before we get anything else, Bigfoot reports and data. Harley sent me over a map that I thought everybody would find interesting. And like Daniel said earlier, we're not saying that there's always a correlation or that is what it is. Like, we're never going to get on here to say that. But Daniel, what are your thoughts on this map? I want to throw it up here, guys, and drop in the comments what you think about this. If it'll pull up, let me hide this other comment here. Hang on so you guys can see that. So this is the USA Parks and Forests. Up here is the missing persons map, and below is the map of sightings of Bigfoot. Like Daniel was saying, look over here. Look at the West Coast. Look at all the sightings. But look how that lines up with the missing 411 people.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I mean, they overlap. I mean, when you guys see something like this, you can't deny it. You really can't. You can't deny it. It is what it is. It's
crazy. And guys, if you haven't, go check out his channel. Got to give him a plug. Great guy. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff. He's seen some wild stuff. So make sure to go check his channel out. So, but, I know it's kind of it's a loaded question, Daniel, but what are your thoughts on the missing 411? Like if you were going to say out of 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of those would you guess are related to something with the cryptoid, Dogman, Bigfoot, if they are? And what percentage of those do you think are more Dogman than Bigfoot? Because I personally think, the majority of them are, if they are those cases, you take whatever ones are that. I would lean towards Dogman myself, but what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know what the number of Dogman sightings that you see in, on the West Coast. I mean, I'm sure they're there. I just really haven't dug into that because, I mean, you guys, what we've been digging in the last few lives has been land between the lakes, and that area just fascinates me. And
Crazy.
I mean, there have been too many documented cases of Dogman. There have been confirmed cases where someone has disappeared and they are blaming it on Dogman.
Right.
It could be nothing other than that. When we go and look at the number of people that have gone missing, it's not like people that are missing, like you would say, a runaway kid going into the inner city, or someone from the suburbs doing something like that, hitchhiking or whatever. I wouldn't really say that, but what you're seeing is with these missing people, they're going into areas where there have been reports, experiences, encounters, sightings of cryptids.
Yep.
So that just, that puts it up there even more.
Well, I mean, as well as I do, being a former law enforcement officer, like the old saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. You kind of have to look up the evidence and stuff. And it makes you wonder. And Harley sent me this picture. I showed, before we get anything else, guys, I'm going to show you guys a picture that Harley sent to me. And I showed you the other day of a Dogman. Was it today I showed you?
Yeah.
All right, guys, you got to see this. Give me just a second. And I know we got a lot going on. We got some cool stuff. I've got a really scary story that somebody sent me, and they didn't want to come on the show, but they allowed us to read it. And that brings up a good point. If you want me or Daniel to read your stories, preferably Daniel, send them to us at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. So if you don't want to come on the show, now I have to record mine to make them sound good. Daniel can throw on a Southern accent and he can either sing you happy birthday, throw on a Southern accent, and just read it. I can't do that as well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know exactly. If you guys missed it, go back and watch the last live. He's saying somebody happy birthday. So
yes.
Yeah. So if it's your birthday today's your birthday, let us know in the chat and he'll sing you happy birthday. How about that? So, all right, hang on. I'm pulling up these pictures. Let me load them up in here. Guys, it's really crazy. It's 3 toes, and you can definitely tell it is some kind of track, and I don't know what to do with it. What do you think about it, man?
Well, here's the thing. When you showed that to me, and you said 3 toes, I had to go back and look at it. Like I stopped, I clicked on it, zoomed in on it,
right,
and the Beast of the Bray Road is reportedly believed to have three toes.
Oof.
And if I'm not mistaken, the monster of Boggy Creek is also believed to have 3 toes. So here's my thing
about that.
It's my unbirthday today. What does that mean? Muscle Jesus from Alaska is in the chat. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either, but I'm glad you're here, man.
But I mean, here's the thing: the tracks that I have seen, the prints that I have seen, all had the dermal ridges, had 5 digits,
right?
So, and after my confirmed sighting, I know what I saw. I know what that is. Okay, I don't know what to make of these 3 things. I don't think that I can't say that it's a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot with it's only 3 toes, especially the way that it's. You know what it reminds me of? This is what it reminds me of.
What's that?
You know that show Land of the Lost?
I don't know if I've ever seen that. You have
the
to
Slee Stacks.
I don't guess I've seen it. It.
They got big eyes. They look like a lizard.
They don't sound very nice.
Well, they don't because they're bad guys.
Well, let's show them the print. You guys ready? Check this out. Okay, here you go. Look at that. You can see it right there. There's distinct 3 separate toes, and then it's a fairly big print. That's bigger than a dog. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's a big print. Here's another one he sent. I don't know, but I would say, like you could chalk that up to whatever, but if he hadn't sent us this picture before that he captured in the same area, and, I'm not going to say where this is at, but you're familiar with the area, Daniel, but check this picture out, guys. Look at that.
Okay, what you
if
guys are looking at here is it's not two in the same picture. It's the same picture side by side, and we have one thing that is circled just showing you what we're seeing. And in the chat, Lee, tell us what you guys think that is. You know, what do you think that is?
It's pretty wild. He says it's very, very strange. He is definitely like seen some crazy stuff. I mean, he's really come on some stuff out there in that area, but it's pretty wild.
Isn't he the same area? Is it Chris Carpenter?
Scott.
Yeah, Scott Carpenter. Yeah,
he kind of took on that mantle, you know, and I don't, you know, if he wants to go here and say kind of exactly where he's at, I don't, you know, but he's definitely taken on that mantle, and he sends me stuff almost, I mean, all the time of just, hey, look, check this out. Like, check this out. I'm like, holy cow. Sawdust says, looks like little gray Mentos.
You never know.
I don't know, but who knows? It's good to see you here, Sawdust. And let's see, most def like in the bushes. It's weird. It's such a strange world, and that's kind of why when I think about missing 411, my mind goes there. As a former law enforcement officer, and you too, I'm sure we look at things a little bit different, but the amount of people missing and the way they go missing is just so odd. Like the circumstances, the amount of distance that they travel if they do find their body is, I don't know if there's an average, Daniel, but I know there's one here in Arkansas. I think it was like 16 miles. It was a little girl. She was like, I think she was like 10 years old, I think. And they found her 16 miles away, and the terrain was very rocky and hilly and caves. And I don't know, what do you do with that? How do you explain that? I don't understand. So,
but what you're also for that event that you're talking about, that little girl, she was also like 6,000 feet up higher in elevation, something like that. It was just an insane amount.
It couldn't have been 6,000 feet. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that high here, but it was.
Then I'm thinking of a different woman.
You must be, yeah, because it happened in Devil's Den, Arkansas, and this little girl, and I'm sure I'll miss some of the stuff. If you know the case, let me know, because I don't remember all the stuff. But basically, she was with her parents. She was a little bitty, went camping, and she went missing. And I think they searched for her for like 3 days or something like that. And they found her like 16 miles away, and she was fine. She was coming out of a cave system and was absolutely fine. And it's like, what do you do with those kind of cases? What are you supposed to do with that? And, I mean, sure, people go missing. Sure, people get lost. People do stupid stuff. They might run into a person. They might whatever. But it's awfully weird that these things all happen in parks. All the different circumstances. It just makes you wonder. I heard a theory the other day, and I'd love to hear your opinion. But this theory that they believe that they created the national parks to kind of cover up some of these cryptid stuff. I don't know if you've ever heard that or not, but it's pretty wild to think about.
Oh yeah, we talked about that, and I told you what I think about it. I mean,
yeah.
At first, I don't think that was the intention, but maybe
right
later on when things were like seriously, I would say maybe getting out of hand. Maybe that's what they started doing, because remember Teddy Roosevelt's the one that created the national park system, and I think there was only 5 or 6 or something like that. And so
Daniel, you got to stop doing that. Look, guys,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Stop doing that. He gets on here and he's the co-host, and he leaves me 10. I'm just going to say thanks because I don't know what else to say. Well, listen, guys.
It wasn't me. I got hacked.
That's not true, man.
It was a Russian inclusion.
Is that what it was? I don't believe that at all. Well, you're awesome, man. I couldn't do these lives without Daniel, and he's graciously agreed to come on and be the co-host for these lives. And I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as me and him are. We just have fun. We talk about Bigfoot. We keep things, simple. We throw these things out. We put a lot of work into it. We really do. Trying to come up and research. Of course, I think you love that, and it's a lot of fun. And we got some good stuff for you guys. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot of different stuff to talk about. But anyways, Harley, thanks for showing that stuff, man, giving us that information. So make sure to go check out Bigfoot Reports and Data. Good channel, good guy. You won't be disappointed that you did. So let's see. Taft says double-sized coffee. Yes, I can go buy me a double-sized coffee thanks to you.
Saw that.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to come. Dude, let's head to Tennessee and go check that out. That would be awesome, man.
Listen, what's Bigfoot Reports and Data's name? That's Harley.
That's Harley. Yeah.
Buddy, I graduated from Millington Central High School in Shelby County. So, and I've been out to East Tennessee. I've been out to Brushy Mountain, the old penitentiary. That's
very cool.
That's something else. Oh, look at Alexandra. She's getting in on the game.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really am grateful for all the support, guys. You guys don't have to do that, but I am grateful for it. Really am. I really am. It means a lot. So, Flower Child Deb says, I enjoy both of you guys. Well, we enjoy you being part of the community, and thanks for being a member. So, Alexandria, thank you again very much. That's awesome. Hey, Joe's here.
Yeah, I just
What's
saw
up, Joe?
Pop up.
What is going on? Scott M says, I'm headed to East Tennessee next week.
Nice.
There's a lot of weird stuff that's been happening in Tennessee, man. Like, there's a lot. I don't know if you do, but is there any of those cases you got from Tennessee?
Nope, I hit pretty much the West Coast, and I'm going to go from west to east.
Well, let's jump
I found those. I found the missing 411s in PDF. So.
Oh, cool. Well, let's get into the other one. That's always good. PDFs are good. So
absolutely,
guys. After this one, we'll get into this a little bit, but I've got a really. I don't know what to say about that. The demon dog story that lady sent, but you don't want to miss it. It's really wild. So we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but
that's demonic if you ask me.
No, 100%. There's nothing else that it could be. I believe that 100%, but
I don't think it's a Dogman.
No, it's when she emailed me, she said demon dog. She actually sent over a picture of what she, closest thing she could relate it to. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. So you don't want to miss that, but man, let's jump into this other story if you're ready.
Sure. This one also happened in Washington State. This one happened. It was Paige Wilson. She went missing on August 20th in 2010 at roughly 4 p.m. in Floodale campgrounds, which is like 19 miles east of Collarville, Washington. She was 8 years old. And I'm just going to let you guys know, I'm not going to read any stories where they found the person deceased. I wanted to find ones where they were safely returned. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. So we're not going to hear any sad news or anything like that because I'm a dad and I'm a grandpa, and I can't think of I don't want to think of something like that. So
no, and also too, no disrespect to anybody out there. If you've lost a loved one or anything like that, we don't mean any kind of disrespect. We're just trying to cover these cases. So
yeah. Okay, so Paige was camping with her grandfather and cousins in a campground 19 miles east of Colville, Washington, in the Colville National Forest. The group was playing and having normal fun with the kid, as kids do in the wilderness. How Paige exactly vanished wasn't very clear, but she was noticed missing around 4 p.m. on August 20th. National Forest officials were notified, and they in turn called Fairchild Air Force Base for air support. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office for searchers and adjoining counties each sent assistance. Bloodhound teams from different jurisdictions were brought in to the scene of the disappearance, but none could track the scent of Paige. On Sunday, approximately at 8 a.m., and nearly 4 miles from the point Paige was last seen, the girl was found walking along a lonely gravel road. She had many scratches and bruises on her arms, but was in relatively good condition. She had survived 40 hours in the wild with temperatures as low as 30 degrees. The television station, KXLY, had a short interview on September 12th with Paige and posted a statement on its website asking her to explain how she got lost. She said she wasn't sure what happened, but she looked around and she was alone and lost. A later statement on August 24th by the TV station KTVB asked Paige's parents what she had said about her 40-hour ordeal. She hasn't said much to anyone about her experience. The summary of this story is the region around Colville has many, many strange things happening over the years. Many of the unusual disappearances are documented in the Western edition of the Missing 411 books. Paige Wilson's statement about how she disappeared may be one of the most revealing you will ever read of victims truly don't understand. Paige's statement about how she got lost almost sounds as though she was in one location 1 second and another location the next, which does mimic the feeling and statement of many parents when they state their kids were right next to them 1 minute and then the next they were gone.
What are you supposed to do with that? Like, it's so wild. Like, for me, the thing that stood out for me out of all that too, I mean, is how cold it was. How does somebody survive like that? And how do you just not know why you went missing? Like, how do you not know? And I know that these are kids, but kids aren't stupid. It's like, I don't know. What do you do with that? You know?
Well, here's the thing. Kids are the most brutally honest human beings on the face of the earth. They just are. They just are.
And they are. I mean, they're honest. They don't hide stuff. They're just going to tell you what happened, how it happened, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What are your thoughts on? And I know me and you see differently in a lot of things like this, but what are your thoughts on portals? Because you hear about, Dogman walking in and out of portals, people walking through a portal, disappearing, losing time. Like Joe, he had that demonic entity that he had that run in with and lost time. And, it makes you wonder if they're correlated, if they're connected. Christopher says, Winston dogs can't find any trace. It has to be supernatural. There's no way around it. So, I don't know.
That's 100%. Chris, 100%. I truly believe that. But here's what I think about portals. Do I think that there's going to be like the stereotypical portal that you see from like sci-fi movies open up? No, I don't think that. I think it's some type like a rip in the fabric of time, to where you don't physically really see anything. People claim to have seen something. Okay, I'm not saying that they're telling a story or not, because I've never seen one. But I think it's just like you just walk through it like a ripple, or walk through like a rip of fabric in time. That's just the way. I'd have to see one to give you any type of really guess,
right.
But I don't think it's like, like Terminator, when Arnold Schwarzenegger came back and he just dropped through the
right.
He dropped down to the ground buck naked and stood up and beat those guys up for their clothes and stuff. But I don't think it. I don't know. I mean, it could
it's
be
so weird, man. I know that, Martin Grove, we played some of his encounters last time, and he talks about portals a lot, and, he didn't believe in them before, but he claims to believe it's him. He claims to have seen them. And so, I don't know. What do you do with this stuff? Right. Like, I don't have any idea. Guys, if you want to hear Martin Grove's second experience again, I know we played it last time. Comment down below. Let us know. We'll play it. But Christopher says that if somebody grabbed me even as a child, I'd be kicking and screaming. You better believe it, man. They'd hear me. I promise. I'm that kind of guy. You would absolutely hear me kicking and screaming. So I don't know. And Joe says NASA is saying there are portals. It makes one wonder. Man, it's so wild, man. This whole thing is so weird. I don't know what to do with it other than just there's things that we just can't explain. We don't understand, but I don't know. It makes you wonder. So, dude, if you need a break, I'm gonna play this other sound. So I think we got somebody wanting to hear it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm good.
Okay, guys, here we go. This happened in Land Between the Lakes. Martin Grove is a really great guy. He wrote several books And so this is part of an interview off of the Confessional podcast. So it's a good interview. I would say go check it out if you want to hear the whole thing, but it's really good. So here we go.
We saw a creature that, in my belief, came out of a portal because we saw a mist. We saw what can only be described like a gray color mist on the side of the road at first. Nothing was in that mist, and then all of a sudden a creature appears, standing beside of the road. When he saw it, it was laid down. I saw it as it began to stand up, and the creature was approximately 8 foot tall in height. This thing was massive. It was nothing like I had seen in 1993. It was even bigger than the Bigfoot that I had saw. This was massive. And the only description that I can give to you is that it appeared to be something off of television. There was no way that this could be real right in front of my eyes. It was like I was seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, The Predator. This thing was translucent. It was gray in color. The back of its head and around its shoulders had Daryl explains it as a lion's mane running down. I couldn't tell what it was. It was hairy coming off the back part of its neck, and it stood up, and it had a rounded snout, and it had the head. I say it was bigger than a beach ball. It wasn't a helmet, but it wasn't a normal type head of what you depict upon what they call Dogman. This thing was just massive. The one thing the two of us could agree upon after speaking about it was that it had a rounded snout and it protruded from the face. And it had white glowing eyes that was deep set behind its forehead. I mean, it was just solid white, like flashlight, strobe light, white light. And by this time, I can't even believe what I'm seeing in front of us. So as I'm passing this object, this beast, whatever that it is, it goes behind my truck, passes behind me, and I'm looking at it in the mirror, and I'm starting to speed up to get some distance between it. And as it goes up the side of the truck, that's when something happens to both of us. Daryl's legs begin to get numb, and his eyes began to leak as if like a water faucet was turned on. I had similar symptoms, but twice as bad. As this thing passes behind my truck, it shoots up the side of the field and goes straight up one of the hills on the Devil's Backbone. This thing doesn't even look like its feet is touching the ground. Again, translucent, predator type or style. It goes right up the mountain hill. We can hear it breaking tree limbs, but yet it's not touching the ground. This thing is like it is floating. I don't even see its legs move or arm moves. It's just like, it's like watching a cartoon per se, or some type of a sci-fi flick. So this thing disappears up into the mountains. Now, getting back into the truck where he and I are, I got the truck wheel in my hand and I'm trying to drive, and my eyes begin swelling shut. What I'm about to tell you, I want you to keep in mind that I've been hit by every type known CS agent that can be used, police or military, government style of tear gas, or what they would use upon humans to subdue them. My eyes are beginning to swell shut. My tongue is swelling and I cannot get my breath. It is if someone sprayed me with the topical agent, what we call Top Cop, or one of the other higher end great CS agents that they spray to subdue someone. So I've got numbness in my legs like Daryl does, and my eyes are swollen shut, and I cannot breathe.
Dude, what do you do with that? You tell me that what he ran into has nothing to do with missing 411. Like I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm saying like if you put the two together, it's like wow. And if you're wondering, that came from the Confessionals podcast online on YouTube. He's on all the platforms. Great podcast. Go check it out. The full story is there. I think he's been on the show twice now, I think. And just that gave me chills when I heard that, man. Like, what do you do with that? You know?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. I don't. If I see something like that that's going to come creep out in front of me, I'm not stopping. I'm going to hit it. I might even gas it up as floor it just to hit it as hard as I can, and then just keep going.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to stop. That's for sure. I'm not going to stop and hang around. There was a guy that I've talked about it before, but he came in on my podcast, and early on, it's the only Dogman encounter, which thanks to Daniel, we've got another one coming up. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be interviewing him on Sunday. Really good Dogman encounter. But anyways, so he's heading out to go to, oh man, he's in
North Carolina.
Yeah. This guy's heading out to drill. That's the word I was looking for. He's going to drill. Anyways, he sees this Dogman creature on the way to drill, and he's been going around this corner, and this thing pops up from around there and just stands up. Really scary encounter, but the scary part is this thing follows him home when he comes back from drill, and he has this really weird encounter, and basically his grandpa sees it out in the yard overnight. His dad calls him the next day. He's like, hey, did anything weird happen last night? And he goes, because I feel like God woke me up and asked me to pray for you guys around 11:30, and that's when his grandpa had seen this thing around his house, and it left after that. So it's crazy. I don't know. It's really weird, man. It's a wild world. So
nope. I have no. Here's the thing. I have no desire, and I'll tell you, if I'm ever out and about and in the woods and I see something like that, I will never ever set foot in the woods again. I just won't. It just won't happen.
No, it's funny because I stopped today. I was on my way to a shoot, and I stopped and pulled over the side of the road to get out, stretch my legs for a minute. And where I pulled off, it was kind of deep in the woods there, man. And it just hit me about all these things we've been talking about and the encounters I've seen. And I think about the times as a kid I spent out in the middle of nowhere as a kid camping. It just makes you wonder, like, man, you know, that could have been me. I could have been a missing 411. Like, who knows, right? But it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty wild. So you ready to get into the other story? I know you got several.
Oh, yeah, sure. Real quick, hey, Flower, what county do you live in?
We got a lot of people in the chat. Thanks, guys, for being here. We love talking to you guys. So make sure if you're watching, you let us know. Let us know where you're from, and we'll give you a shout out. So glad to have everybody here. A lot of people back watching again. So that is really awesome. We're glad you guys are here. And we're excited to do these stories for you. We got some pretty crazy stuff coming up, a lot of stuff to talk about, so don't go anywhere. But man, so where's this one from? Tell us a little bit about it, and before you get into it.
This one is from one of my favorite places, Mount Rainier, in Pierce County, Washington. This is Marcella Ramsky. She went missing on July 1st, 1950 at roughly 5 p.m. And she was only 4 years old.
Wow.
Miss Kay Ramsky and her daughter, Marcella, age 4, took a trip from their Fairfax, Washington home to Shanus Falls inside Mount Rainier National Park. I actually know where that place is. I can't pronounce it. At approximately 5 p.m., Marcella vanished. Ms. Ramsky notified National Park authorities, and the search immediately was commenced. The Park Service committed 50 rangers to the search for Marcella, along with the 2 bloodhound teams. The canines were giving Marcella's scent. They could never track her. The location where Marcella vanished is approximately 2 miles from the base of Mount Rainier and is located on the northwest side of the park. The Park Service received volunteer assistance from many people in that area. At 9 a.m. the following day, Marcella's disappearance, Jack and Donald Knoll were walking uphill from the falls looking for the girl when they happened to see a small bundle on the ground. On July 4th, 1950, an article in the Kingsport News had the following details. A blonde 4-year-old youngster was found sitting high on the slopes of Mount Rainier Monday morning after wandering 16 hours in the wilderness. Where the National Park searchers and bloodhounds failed, the 2 volunteers found her on the slopes of the mountain, which is unreal. Later in the same article, it described the girl's condition. The child's leg bore long scratches from crawling through underbrush. People who have read many other missing 411 books will recognize that these types of scratches are routinely found on kids that go missing in mountain settings. A different article dated also July 4th, 1950, in the Nevada Journal tells an entirely different story. A ranger said the girl, Marcella Ramsky, was in good condition with no visible cuts or abrasions, but was taken to a doctor's office in Buckley for observation. That is correct, an entirely different story than relayed to the public by the National Park Rangers. It sounds like they understood the importance and relevance of the cuts and abrasions and wanted to control the message. Later in the Kingsport's News article, there is a section about the girl's clothing and a statement from her mother. Her mother said the tot had apparently gone through her regular nightly routines regardless of the discomforting circumstances. Her dress was on backwards, and the laces on her shoes were crossed every which way. People need to understand that on Mount Rainier during the July nights, temperatures can easily get down into the high 30s and low 40s. I doubt that the girl was going to remove her clothing and put them back on. Again, this is an attempt to explain the unexplainable. Several aspects of the story may not seem outwardly unusual if you haven't read any of the other books for the missing 411s. The girl walked over 2 miles directly upward towards the top of Mount Rainier. The vast majority of missing children walking downhill when lost, not uphill. So what they're saying here is that kids are more apt to go ahead and start walking downhill than uphill. It is apparent from the descriptions given by the mother that somehow, somewhere, the clothing and shoes came off of Marcella. Another common fact among many children who vanish, children who go missing in the wilds of North America are often found with serious scratches, abrasions, and gashes, but apparently the Park Service didn't want us to know this. As Marcella walked further uphill away from her mother, the temperatures dropped. The air became thinner, and survivability became more difficult. Miss Ramsky was very lucky to get her daughter back alive. So, Mount Rainier, when I was 16 years old, I climbed to the summit with a group of people.
Wow.
I can tell you that the area going uphill is very, very rugged. It's very, very treacherous. Yes, there are paths. There are paths up there, but they're not even paths. Around on the very, very bottom, they're well-maintained paths. But the higher you get in elevation, they become more rocky, more uneven. I had to have different sets of clothing when I went. I started out wearing a pair of jeans, a sweatshirt, my backpack, a hat. By the time I got about a quarter of the way up, I was now in shorts and a t-shirt And yeah, so I changed clothes probably 6 or 7 times my entire time climbing. So
it's so wild, man. Like that kind of terrain is something that most kids aren't going to be able to traverse, especially 4 years old, man. Like, how do you explain all that? Like, what are you supposed to do with all that? And I think that it has to be more than just somebody wandering off. And yes, those cases happen. I agree that there's people that just wander off and they just, for whatever reason, dehydrate or whatever. But stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. There's got to be more to the story than just that, I don't know. That's wild.
AO, no, her shoes were on, but her shoelaces were tied all kittywampus. So, I mean, you have to look at it. You can look at it all you want. You can look at any single case that's out there. You can pick it apart. You can try to put pieces back together. You can try to rearrange the pieces. But the one thing is that, number one, she's 4 years old. Number two, she did absolutely the complete opposite of what every pretty much case shows, is that when a child winds up missing in a mountain terrain, they go downhill. She continued to walk uphill. So, what do you do? And again, this is in Pierce County, you guys. Pierce County, 84 reports of Sasquatch in that county.
It's a lot. That's
84.
a lot.
And if you count mine, 85. But I never reported mine to BFRO or anything like that. So, but think about how many more unreported are there.
Oh, yeah, I get emails every day. Not every day, but I get emails a lot from people that are like, "Hey, I've got this thing that happened to me, but I don't want to share it, because of the ridicule or whatever reason." It makes you wonder how many are out there that just haven't been reported. But it's weird to me with this map. I'll throw this map up again. And like I said, we're not saying, guys, that that's what it is. We're not saying, oh, it's definitely Bigfoot. It's, whatever. But it makes you wonder. Like, we're just throwing out the evidence. But look at this map. Top is the missing persons in parks and forests in the U.S. The bottom is Bigfoot sightings. I mean, it's crazy to me. And a majority of them look like they happen all on the West Coast. And I don't know if it's because it's so rural in certain areas or what the reasoning behind that is, but it makes you wonder, man. It's pretty weird. But speaking of Dogman, I think it might be a good time to play that audio from the Beasts of Bray Road. What do you think?
Hold on a second. See, what would be the benefit of taking people regarding Bigfoot? So, Sweet Lou, let me see if I understand your question. What would be the benefit of taking people regarding Bigfoot? So, what would be the benefit of them taking, like Bigfoot taking a person? Well, there has been stories in legend that certain Bigfoot clans or accounts or whatever you want to call it, they eat people. Yeah. They've been known to go in, steal children, and eat them. So they could use it as a food source. Right. And I hate to think like that. I do not want to think that someone's last moments is of a hulking beast ripping them from limb to limb, or having them take two people and then watch one person get eaten alive. Pretty much, I can't handle that. So.
It's crazy, you think about that, and you Daniel, you're right. Like, if you talk to a lot of Native American people, that's what they say, that they were known as cannibals. They would come in the other tribe and would come eat, their children and stuff. And so, I think if it is something like that, then that's what's going on now. If it's Dogman, I think Dogman's just pure evil, and it's just there to terrorize you. It is only there to do that. And so it'd be a good time to segue into the story we pulled for you guys. So this story, to lay the foundation for this, I think it was our last show, was the Beast of Bray Road. And we pulled a bunch of information. And so we were digging again, and we found some of these stories. Now, these are 3 separate stories that happened. This first encounter was one of the first ones that they said that somebody came forward with. And the lady you're going to hear talking is a news reporter. And she actually took down this evidence and she wrote about it, put it in the paper. But this encounter happened on Halloween night in 1991. So let's listen to these and we'll talk more about it. And we got some more missing 411 cases to talk about. We got some more Dogman stuff, Bigfoot stuff. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be talking about. So you ready, man?
I'm ready. You guys ready out there?
You guys ready? Let us know if you're ready. This is a good one. So here we go.
She was a senior in high school at the time and was driving down Bray Road. She felt like this muffled thump, and she was afraid that she hit somebody's dog or ran over an animal or something. She said, I saw this thing. I don't know what it was, but it was big, and it started running for me. And she said, I could hear its feet on the asphalt, just boom, boom. It actually lunged for her car and scraped its claws on the trunk of the car. And she showed this to me. You know, I remember examining it, and they were consistent with two sets of claws clawing their way down the back of the car. And that was one of the things that scared her so badly.
My name is Tom Brickta. I live in Tremaine Mobile Home Court on Highway Z. It was a Saturday night, late July, early August, and I was coming home from a wedding reception. I had my friend Scott and my friend Chris from Hanover Park, Illinois, in the car with me. It was very foggy. You could barely see 2 car lengths ahead of you. And we started smelling this funny odor. This real foul-smelling odor, like a skunky kind of smell. I had noticed a hand sticking out into the road, and my friend had noticed me looking out on the side of the road, and he had looked, and he had seen whatever it was. It was huge. It was really large. It was whitish, gray and black streaks in it. It was hairy. It was reaching out towards my car. It had scratched a small piece of pinstriping from my car. It scratched right down. The fingers were either pointed or had quite the nails on them. I did not get any facial detail, but it was frightening. It was very frightening. And I know as long as I think about this, not a day goes by that I don't. I know a day won't go by that I won't think about it. I can remember it like it was just yesterday.
Another one was Lori Andrisi. At the time, she was a young single mother, and she was a bar manager in town and was driving home from work. Her attention was drawn to something in the ditch.
But from what she had said, that something was kneeling down, crouched over on the side of the road, eating some type of roadkill.
She said it was actually kneeling in a way that she didn't think a canine could kneel. And the other weird thing is that it was holding some type of road-killed animal.
We even looked up at it, which obviously scared her to no end.
It frightened her very, very deeply. And she said she spent a lot of time at the library looking for what it might have been, and it didn't match any natural wolf pictures she had seen. Now, she was one of the ones that had called John Fredrickson, and she went to his office to talk to him about it.
And we were discussing different things that it may have been. If it was something of the natural order of nature, such as some type of animal, be it a coyote or wolf, and there had been random wolf sightings around that time. If it wasn't something along the natural order of nature, then it possibly could have been something along the supernatural realm of things.
He had a row of books on the shelf behind him at his desk, and when they started talking about this, the books started flying off the shelf.
Not too long into the conversation, some books that were up on a bookshelf just came flying down, and there really wasn't any cause for the books to go flying off the shelf. So that was the end of that conversation.
Dude.
Nope.
No Thank you. That was all in the area of Beast of Bray Road. Where was that at again? I know it was in Wisconsin. Where's that at?
Oh man, I have that written down here. Hold on. Yeah, it's in Wisconsin. It's in let's see here. Do I have it here?
I can't remember the name of the town. It starts with an E, I think. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, those are pretty credible encounters, man.
Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
That's it. Elkhorn. Such a wild world. What do you do with the books flying off the bookshelf? If that's not, it's got to be more than flesh and blood. These encounters like that, man, they just have to be. So
no, for sure. I mean, and everybody in chat it's 100% consensus. I'm just tongue tied tonight.
You're good, dude. You need coffee.
No, I don't drink coffee, but it's 100% across the board that everybody is agreeing that, hey, they're evil. And like I said before, I have never, ever, ever read an account of where Dogman's been helpful.
Right.
Seriously.
No.
And I made the comment, last time that I believe there's checks and balances when it comes to Bigfoot versus Dogman. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, well, Bigfoot keeps Dogman as a pet. I don't believe that 1 second.
Mm-mm.
I believe that Bigfoot, honestly, I think Bigfoot seeks them out and tries to take care of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, I don't know. And it's so weird. The only person I know personally that's ever had an encounter was Hartley. He actually had an encounter, and so he's got lots of thoughts on it because he's been there. But man, I'm like you. Like I've never heard of a good Dogman encounter where people are like, oh, that was such a wonderful experience. Like I've got one encounter. A guy came on my show and he was from Canada, and he was out walking and basically was surrounded by some wolves. And he said these things were getting ready to attack him. And he said he heard this noise behind him, and he looked back there, and Bigfoot had stepped out on the road, and these wolves just scattered. That's not your typical Dogman encounter. Like,
no,
it just doesn't work that way. So, I don't know. Lori says, how do they coexist? That's a good question.
I don't think they coexist. I think that, okay, number one, everybody, I'm sure is in agreement here that Bigfoot, they migrate.
Right.
I think they honestly, and like I said, someone asked me before a few lives ago, I think that they migrate, but they migrate within their own region. It's kind of like, back in the day, the Native Americans had certain parts of the land that they went to. Right. And if they were going to cross into another one, they gained permission from that tribe to do whatever. However, I think that they all are aware, like if a Dogman comes into their region, because now they're no longer the only apex predator in that area.
Right. And
they're going to do whatever they can to protect their family unit, protect their friends, protect their food sources. And honestly, I don't think we're even on their scope of what they would need to protect. They're looking for their survival and the survival of the kind. So when a Dogman comes into their area or their region, word gets out pretty quick, and I think they go out as quick as they can to try to deal with it. That's just my theory. I don't know that to be true at all, but I mean, think about it. What happens when you see a lion pride, and then another lion pride or a rogue lion comes into the same area? What happens?
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are some good thoughts, man. I could see how that could be. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. And I don't know. It's just a lot of weird things in God's universe I don't understand. But, these things are real. They're out there. And, you can't tell me that some of these missing Form 1 people couldn't have been missing because of these creatures. Like, you can't. You have to put that together and think, well, that is a possibility. So, shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. We got a lot of people here. Jeremiah's here, Bigfoot Society. Glad you're here, buddy. Rhonda 868 is still here. Christopher's here. Harley is in the chat. So We got a lot of people in the chat tonight, so let us know that you're here. If this is your first time stopping by, make sure to say hi. Also, if you become a member tonight, all the way till the very end of this month, and you're in the $2.99 tier or above, my wife has put together a care, let's call it a care package, a welcome package for you guys that we're going to be sending out at the end of the month. So do that. Send me an email. Let me know. We'll get that out to you guys. We're excited that everybody's here.
So let me speak on that as well, you guys. We've only got 5 more days in the month. So you got 5 more days, and again, it's only $2.99 a month, and you get. I don't know what's in it. I wish I did, but
well, there's a lot.
It's going to be a pretty cool package. So
There's
again,
a lot,
$2.99 a month. You guys, it's less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks or Caribou or Dunn Brothers or whatever you want to drink it from. It's $2.99 a month. It helps the channel, helps Josh, get more content out there, So, yeah.
Well, we're just here to, we're here, guys, to give you guys these stories to hopefully entertain you for a while. There's a lot of things going on in this world, and it's nice to unplug sometimes. And hopefully we can do that. And, selfishly, I get to hang out with Daniel, chat. That's been the best thing that's happened with this whole podcast is the guys and the community that we're building and the people that's in it and the people that we get to meet. But thanks for all the support. We really, really, honestly, no joke, we really appreciate it. We would not be doing this without y'all, so it wouldn't happen. So, hey, Joe brought up a good point. He says they can kill people, but they aren't allowed to most of the time. Now that is a loaded statement. There's a lot of different ways you could go with that. Yeah, I guess Bigfoot, Dogman. Not sure which one he's reporting.
I think Bigfoot. I mean, I think Dogman's going to kill you when he wants to. I don't think he has any boundaries. But Joe, I would agree with you on the whole Bigfoot thing, because you got to think about it, man. You guys, hundreds of years of tales, stories being handed down, because you got to understand, anybody here who is not Native American, I mean, I am to a certain extent. I have it on my mom's side. Back in the day, before they used the written word, they would find a child that had above average or high IQ, and then they would train them and teach them, and they would become pretty much like the story keeper of their tribe, like the historian of their tribe. And so I mean, these go on for hundreds of years. If you look at the cave drawings, they're depicted in cave drawings. So I think the reason Bigfoot, like you would say, Bigfoot probably does have certain rules on to engage and to take a human life. But again, just like us today, you've got good ones and you got bad ones.
Yeah. I think that's there's good and bad, and why that is, I don't know. I personally think that these things are Nephilim, they're fallen angels. Dogman's definitely demonic, and I would say that like everything in God's universe, I think there's boundaries there because of God. But I think that these things, for whatever reason, they're loose on the earth, and I don't understand any of that and how that works. But it's crazy. Let's see. We got a question from Pork and Beans. I love that name. That is so awesome. Have you gents had any encounters or interactions? Yes, we both have.
Yes, I have.
And we kind of, Daniel has been on the channel several times and shared. Thankful that he reached out with, it's how I met him and shared his encounters with me. And we're going to try to work on something for the next episode. And he's going to record one of his encounters, and we're going to put some audio with it, and it's really good. But I think that there's just so much in God's universe we don't understand. But speaking of that, I'm going to play this encounter that was sent to me. And guys, this brings up a good point. If you've got an encounter that you don't want to talk about, you're afraid to come on in the show and let me interview you can always send it to me, and we'll play it on one of these lives, or Daniel will read it. But this one's really scary. The person did not want their name mentioned, but I can tell you it happened in Pennsylvania. This is really, really, really wild. It's very scary. If you got any little kids in the room, you probably want to send them out. This is kind of, I think it's a hellhound, a demonic entity, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you a picture first before we get into this. The lady sent me this picture, and she said this was the closest thing she could find to what she saw. You ready, Daniel? You
I've already seen it.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Crazy.
It's
but
wild.
I'm ready.
Okay. Check this picture out, guys. Let me remove this comment. Hang on just a second. That's what she describes seeing in her house. So I am not like Daniel. I cannot do these things, read them live like he does. So I have to record mine, and because he's much better at that. Give him the Southern accent real quick before we get into that. Put you on the spot.
Well, I'll give him a little tease for the next missing.
Okay, give him a tease. Let me take this picture off here so they can see you. All right, go for it, man.
This is one of the most unusual stories you'll ever hear or ever had read to you in any of his books. The name, date, and location of this incident all have been changed to protect the victims and his family. The location of this incident was near Mount Shasta and happened sometime around October of 2010.
Dude, you're good at that, man. You sound more Southern than I am. It cracks me up, man.
Well, I'm not, man.
But it sounds like it. It's great. All right, guys. Just to, I can't wait to hear that story. Just to preface, here's what this lady saw, and I'm going to play it. And if you guys got something that you want me or Daniel to read, to put on the show, let us know. Also, if you want to come on my show, I drop an episode every single Monday. You can reach me by mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on interview. But if you want to come on and chat with me and Daniel, have us read one of your stories, have it read in a Southern drawl, Daniel's your guy. Or sing you happy birthday. If it's your birthday and you're in the chat, let us know, because Daniel will absolutely sing you happy birthday. But anyways, let's get into this. This is from this lady's from Pennsylvania. She was very scared, guys. This lady was very sincere, very scared, but did not want to talk about it. So here we go. Very, very scary. Story was sent to us by a lady who wishes to remain anonymous. Demon Dog from Pennsylvania. At this time, my first husband and I lived with his grandmother. I was about 20 and my husband was 23. His grandmother was in her 80s. We lived in the middle of the sticks in a 2-story farmhouse. The place had only cold running water in the kitchen, no bathroom or furnace. The house was heated by an old coal cook stove, big and cast iron. The outhouse sat behind the house several yards away. The night this happened, I had to get up to go to the bathroom. I never went outside to the outhouse. We had a chamber pot in the other room. This box is wooden with a groove to slide a rim of the bucket into, similar to the toilet chairs used in nursing homes. The room upstairs, you must go into one room to get to the other. So I got up, went to the door to open it, and as I touched the door, I heard growling. Because of my groggy state, it didn't register until I opened the door. I immediately felt evil in my bones. In the darkness, I could feel the presence of terror. I heard the growling. Slowly, the beast became illuminated from within, like fire and a stench of brimstone. For a second, I thought it was a nightmare, but no, I was awake. Slowly, the beast advanced. It was weird. The room was not very big, yet these beasts seemed to come from a distance towards me. As it got closer, I was frozen to the spot like a mouse in the sights of a cat. I began to recite scripture. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. All at once, they leapt at me, going through me. I'm still frozen to the spot. Behind me, I hear still hitting still. I hear growling and a struggle. Then, just as quick, all went quiet. I heard nothing. However, I felt an overwhelming feeling of peace and love. I felt safe. I tried to tell my husband about it, and he scoffed at me and said I was dreaming. He would tease me about it and make fun of me, so I kept quiet. I had another weird thing happen. I saw a lizard thing walking on 2 legs, crossing the road. That whole thing was strange, and the next day, the minivan I had driven the night before caught on fire. A total loss. Very strange. I had told my husband again, and he didn't believe me. until the next day because he was driving when the van burned up at about the same place I saw the thing the night before. There are demons in this world just like there are angels. I believe demons are here to deceive and kill. I believe they can shapeshift. Well, that's it. Hope you have a blessed day. One of the craziest stories I've ever heard, man.
That was Satan.
You know, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, these things are more than flesh and blood. And I think if people understood what was around them every day, they would act a little different. But love to hear you guys' thoughts on that story. I appreciate, you know who you are for sending that over. Thanks for being brave enough to at least get it out there. So just wanted to share that. And if you got an encounter that you want to send us, we'd be happy to read it on air. We would be happy to do whatever to get that story out there. But pretty scary stuff, man. You know, Christopher brings up a point, and I do believe this. Big Man, Dogman, the Rake, Wendigo, aliens, a.k.a. the Fallen Ones, it's all intertwined. That's where I land with it. You know, that's kind of how I think with this stuff. But I don't know, man. It's a pretty interesting world. But
it is.
That's why I always say, man, stay prayed up. Like, that's why I say that at the end of every show. It's so important to do that. So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. But, dude, you left your light on for that one, man.
It wasn't as scary. because I've got Jesus in my heart and Jesus watching my back, so I'm not going to worry about that.
No, dude. If you got that, man, you're good. You're absolutely good. So, man, why don't you get into the other missing 411 story?
Okay. So this one, okay, so here's the name. Okay. The child that disappeared was only 3 years old. Disappeared October 1st, 2010 at 6:30 p.m. from Mount Shasta, California. His name is John Doe. Now, again, the names were changed to protect the family and the person, the kid, okay? So I'll pick up. So John was camping with his family on the banks of a large creek at approximately 6:30 p.m. on October 1st, 2010. John's disappearance from the campsite. Well, this thing's all choppy. So John, he disappeared from the campsite around 6:30 p.m. The parents were searching the bordering forest and creeks and could not locate the boy. The call was made in local sheriffs and the United States Forest Service for assistance. The area where this occurred has a long history of high strangeness. It is very thick with big trees, great fishing, and lots of wildlife. This is a place where the author has fished dozens of times. The location is in the shadow of Mount Shasta, and with that comes a history of many strange things occurring over the years. Local search and rescue crews and the sheriffs responded to the scene immediately and set out looking for John. Approximately 5 hours after the search started, John was found lying in a thicket directly next to one of the primary trails that searchers had used. He was found in good condition and returned to his parents at approximately 11:30 p.m. He'd been missing for 5 hours. It is at this point usually writing about the unusual aspect of the case and how it related to other disappearances. This case is different, however. The author states that he has always believed that disappearances that in the case, he's always believed that children return home and tell their parents what had happened to them. These stories are never heard by the media, and they are filtered by the parents because of their believability. In this case, John's parents heard the author's interview on Whitney Strieber's show, and immediately made contact about John's disappearance and other children that have vanished across North America. They contacted Whitley and asked how they could contact the author. Whitley gave them the author's email, and you will read John's story below. I was advised that John is a very, very intelligent boy that acts much older than his 3 years. When John returned home, he was initially quiet about the disappearance until he saw his grandmother. Once he saw Grandma, John told her that he had seen her twin while he was missing. He explained that he doesn't remember how he got lost, but his first memory is waking up in a cave or dungeon. He used both words to describe it. He says that he saw his grandma with him in the dark room. He stated that there was a ladder up to the side wall that led to a bright light. The woman spoke to him in a very nice and polite way. He stated that she was interested in his tummy. He explained that he thought that he was talking with his grandma the entire time until he saw sparks come from her head. He then stated he believed she was a robot. He says he saw guns and purses and had lots of dust on them and on the walls of the cave, and also saw another robot in the cave, but it never moved. John explained that near the end of the time, end of the time with the lady, she had placed a piece of sticky paper on the ground and told him that she wanted him to poop on the paper. He said that he didn't have to. It was sometime after this point that she took him from the room and placed him under the bush and told him to stay there. He never explained how he got from the room, but does remember being found. In conversation with John's family, his story has stayed consistent, and he has continually that he was never afraid. The author had the opportunity to question the grandmother. She's very sharp and aware of her surroundings. She explained that she had actually been at the exact spot where John disappeared. She was there several months prior to the boys disappearing. She stated that she had a companion spend the night on the banks of the creek, and her partner slept in their truck. She said that she had woke in the morning with a stinging pain in the base of her neck. Her partner looked and found a small red dot, but nothing else. The woman doesn't know if this is related to John's disappearance, but wanted to explain that it's coincidental that she was at the exact location months earlier.
That is got to be one of the strangest ones I've ever heard, man.
Yep. I'm telling you.
Wow. That is so weird. I don't have a clue, man. What do you do with that? I don't know. I know I keep saying that, but legitimately, what are you supposed to do with that, right?
Bro, I'm telling you right now. When I read that, I had to read that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
To make sure I was understanding, what I was reading. And it's funny because in that location, in the county that this took place, there's 31 reports of cryptids in that location.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, well, not just that sole location, but in that county. But you guys, come on now.
Wow.
If this doesn't scream UFO abduction, I don't know what does.
It's so weird, man. I don't know. That's so weird. I don't know. Maybe this fits. Taft the Wanderer's got a good statement, and maybe this fits. But I said it's interesting that many Christians discount the spiritual when our own beliefs have even wilder stuff. We are surrounded by many distractions, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. That's very true, man. And it makes you wonder, like, this has got to be related, to that. For me, man, like everything fits in that lens. And I'm like, because here's the thing, like, how many of you guys have read about King Nebuchadnezzar? Like, he literally grew claws and ate like an animal and walked around on the ground like an animal. God caused him to do that. And it's like, if that can happen, it's not too far fetched that something like, Bigfoot's a fallen angel, Dogman's, Nephilim evil, whatever you want to label it. But these things are shapeshifters. They're, I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's just a wild world. And these things keep me up at night. I sit and think about these things. And I know there's a lot of cases that I worked in law enforcement that, you never got resolved from and you never got answers from. And, when you go down these rabbit holes, man, it's like, we're not ever going to know probably until we get to heaven, until we're not here, but it's weird, man. I don't know. Weird world.
No, I agree with you, and that one was kind of chilling. For a 3-year-old to come out with that much detail and be questioned time and time again and remain 100% persistent on what his story was and never vary from it. That's crazy.
It's wild, man. Like, and that's the thing, like, one of the first things you look for when you interview somebody, you want to ask them different ways, but you want to see if their story changes, and for that kid's story to never change and to stay consistent the whole time. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a weird world.
I see Flat Rock. He made a statement or a comment. He goes, "Not saying aliens, but." And then I noticed that Greg Olson, he's talking about something that I definitely want to dig into.
Yeah, definitely. Greg, you said you sent me an email before. I might have missed it, man. So if you can send it to me again, I'd love to talk to you. But a lot of people with comments in the chat. Love to see everybody's comment. But I don't know. My dad had what's really strange is he had a UFO encounter probably 5 miles from where I had my Bigfoot encounter. And it really makes you wonder. And my dad, guys, is one of these guys that if he tells you something, you can take it to the bank. It is what he says it is. So I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. Strange world.
Rock, where are you from? Because, man, you're straight out just you're tossing out names in my backyard, son. Tacoma, Graham, Fort Lewis. Come on now. Are you from Washington State? Bro, did you and I talk? I think we did talk. Yeah, because I'm from the north end of Tacoma, like 4 blocks away from University of Puget Sound, UPS.
Man, you have been all over the U.S., dude.
Well, that's only because my parents.
I know.
Were divorced when I was like 5, and my mom was my mom. They say Papa was a Rolling Stone. In my book, Mama was a Rolling Stone.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
Well, both my parents were married 4 times, man.
Well, you know what though, you turned out to be an amazing human being, and you have some experiences that most people will never get to experience, and I mean good experiences. You got to see the country and a lot of different stuff. So. But also too, man, I'm just going to start calling you the designated singer for this channel because you get on here, you do the Southern slang, you sing to us. Like, somebody please tell me it's your birthday so he'll sing you happy birthday. If you want to hear Daniel sing happy birthday, drop a 1 in the comments. So Christopher says, Mr. Unknown, you're right on the money. I think I speak for everybody. We'd love to hear some of your stories from being a police officer.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Well, I have one that I've never really publicly talked about, but I know for a fact I saw somebody get away with murder. That's jumping off into the deep end, but I probably don't know if I want to talk about that, but I've seen and done it all. I was everything from chief of police, did CID. I worked as a field training officer. I did a little bit of everything, did it for 16 years, and I knew when it was time to get out. I left, think just when I was supposed to leave. So I called my chief on a Saturday morning. I checked out and I was like, it had to be God, because I'm like, this isn't fun anymore, and I think I'm just done. So turned in my 2-week notice, and it's been 8-9 years now, I think. So anyways, I got a lot of different stories, a lot of stuff we can talk about, but I don't know if Daniel wants me to talk about it or not, but he's got some stuff in the works that I probably jump on with him and talk about some of that stuff. So I'll save some of that for that. But you know,
I want to, Flat, email the show. I definitely want to hear stories about Fort Lewis. I've just heard just vague stories. And you guys, I'm working on 2 channels. I'm working on one called, well, I'll just throw it out there. I'm working on one called, I've already got it listed. It's called the LZ Podcast. And I hope to do some stuff with veterans. I'm a veteran myself, and I have just a deep, deep love for veterans and my first responders. My brothers and sisters that served, are serving. I just want to highlight them and hold them up because, they're special to me. And then the second one I'm working on is a paranormal podcast. I'm still trying to come up with a name. Some cool names I've come up with, I found already been taken. And so I'm going to be working on that. So I will definitely, hopefully, be hearing from some of you guys. And I'd love to hear some of your paranormal stories. But
I'll make sure, guys, that when he gets these things ready to go, that we send you over there and show him support, man. He supported this channel early on, and I just thankful for you, buddy, and your friendship, man. Means a lot to me. So
I appreciate you, man. Really, and especially after the day I had today, man. I truly appreciate you.
Yeah, dude. I always got your 6, man. Always, man. And we're trying to build a community, guys, that we do care. And when you guys send us these encounters, we don't take them lightly, because I know it's not easy to talk about some of this stuff. But anyways, man, you guys are awesome. I will tell you a funny story. If you guys want to hear a funny story, let me know. I know it's definitely not Bigfoot related, but I've had a lot of different funny stuff happen. But anyways, let me know and I'll share that with you guys. But we got a lot of stuff going on in the comments, man. I'm having a hard time keeping up. But
my buddy Sweet Lou, man, he just said, in order for all these phenomena to be false, then every single story, encounter, experience would also have to be 100% incorrect, a lie, or a hoax. And I just cannot believe that 100% are bogus.
That's so true, man. That is so true. You have talked to a lot of people. I have talked to a lot of people with these encounters that just, I've talked to people and they're lying or making it up. But man, a lot of these guys are just blue collar people, law enforcement, military, all these other things. Like, it's like, why would they lie? I had a guy who was a prominent banker, from North Carolina. He's like, I'm scared to come on here and talk about this because everybody knows me, but I've got more to lose than I do to gain by sharing this story. So, it's a wild world, man. And people are definitely seeing this stuff, and it seems like they're popping up more and more. I was reading some stats, and in Arkansas, there's been a report in all 75 counties. But you know where the most reported place is in Arkansas?
Little Rock.
No, Miller County. Bigfoot sightings, not missing. Sorry, Bigfoot sightings in Miller County, and that's because of the legend of Boggy Creek. So,
last time we talked about that, wasn't like the most recent one, like 2016.
2024. They had one. Yeah. Yep. They had one in 23 and one in 24. I think it was the same person, or the same area, I think. But yeah, it was in 2024. So yeah, I'm working on some stuff with that, but we got to get down there, man. One for the funny story. If I get one more, I'll tell you my funny cop story. I've got so many, but this one's really hilarious. But anyways, it just, there's too many sightings. Like, there's too many sightings. And what gets me is like, your vote don't count, Daniel. You're the co-host. It doesn't count.
So you're taking away my constitutional right?
No, okay, I'm sorry. You can have it. Whatever. Fine. Oh, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. All right, so here's the short synopsis of the story. I'm on patrol, really late night, and I got another officer riding with me this night. And so there's not much going on. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it only takes, like, I'm saying, to get through town, less than 5 minutes to get all the way across town. And I'm in my patrol car. Now, mind you guys, our city was so broke that we only had one patrol car at one particular time and 3 officers. 2 stories I'll tell you. The first one, 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a little moped that gets in front of me, man, and I'll never forget it. And we both had Route 44 drinks sitting in the drink holder of this patrol car, so Crown Vic, and moped pulls out in front of us, and it's all over the road, man. I mean, everywhere, all over the road. I'm like, this has got to be drunk. It's got to be drunk. So I'll lot them up, and we pull over, and as soon as we did, I don't know why it happened, but both of the Route 44 drinks fall over. We've got Coke all over us. So I look up, and the person on the moped falls over. They stop, they fall over. So we get out. The kid is so drunk he can't even stand up, and so we get out with him. And so in law enforcement, whenever you pull somebody over, you're at that point, you are held liable for that vehicle, their property, all the stuff. And so we couldn't get a wrecker to come. And so we got this moped, and we're not sure what to do. What do we do with it? And the guy that was with me, he was new to the force. He's like, I'll ride it. So he hops on this moped at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. If you can imagine, full Class A uniforms, and Class A is like their typical blue, button up shirt, like dress code uniforms. And he's riding through town on this moped in uniform, drives it to the PD. So that was a great night. That was really funny. And then another time when I started, I'd been at this police department maybe like a week and a half, and I was riding around with the chief, and we had the one patrol car, but that patrol car was broke down. So we had to borrow one from the county. Okay. So we borrowed this car from the county, and we're riding around, and it's not even marked. It doesn't have a cage, no lights, which is illegal. You're supposed to be able to have all that stuff, but it's Arkansas. So anyways, get behind this person, and my chief is like, hey, we're gonna pull them over. And I'm like, how are you gonna do that? Like, what are you gonna do? So I kid you not, Daniel, I'm dead serious. He reaches under the seat, he pulls out the blue light, the dash light, slaps it on top of the car, plugs it in the cigarette lighter. He says, roll down your window and yell at them to stop. So I proceeded to do that. Now that legitimately happened. So that's all I'm going to talk about tonight. But anyways, so there you go,
man.
Yeah, pretty funny.
But I will say, and this is all in Arkansas, correct?
Every bit of it, man.
And I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys right now.
Bit.
If you guys go through Arkansas and you think you're going to screw up or you're going to do some stupid stuff, Arkansas law enforcement will light you up, and they won't even ask questions.
Nope. We don't.
They do not play.
We didn't. We didn't at all. And I will tell you this, though, it's crazy because when I started, the state police carried around what they called thumpers, and there were these leather pouches,
blackjacks.
Yep, with a metal ball sewn into them. And I watched more times than I can count. Somebody would start to mouth, and that trooper would just whack. You just didn't. It was a different world than it is now. And when I started, nobody had it was just different. And I can tell you that I held my head high. I'm proud of my law enforcement career. I never did anything that I was not proud of. I got in good and I left good. Some officers don't have that opportunity. But man, I'm just, Flat Rockland says he has one of those. Those things will mess you up, man.
Joe said Daniel is stripped of his citizenship. Okay. Which one? I have 2. Which one am I stripped from? I do. I have 2. I actually have the paperwork right behind me.
That's awesome, man. There's always something new about Daniel every time we do these lives. So,
I was born in Belgium.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. See, I didn't even know that. I don't think I knew that. That's really cool.
I was born in Mons, Belgium. Yeah.
That's super cool, man. Well, guys, you never know what you're going to get on this podcast, but you're going to have a good time. We can promise you that. You might not be able to sleep at night with some of the stories that we tell, but hey, you'll have fun. Let's see. AAO says to see something in the forest like Bigfoot is terrifying, but to be taken from your room in the middle of the night by an ET is more terrifying. You know, you're right. That would be, I mean, I don't know what you do with that, but that's really, really, really scary. But we got another question here. Where was that at? Somebody was asking if we'd seen or heard anybody that had an encounter in the UK. Carl's SCC. Have you, Daniel? You ever heard anybody with an encounter in the UK?
No, I've heard. I've heard of a Dogman or a Dogman type encounter or sighting, and I've also heard of a Sasquatch one.
Wow.
Now I don't know the validity of the Sasquatch one. I mean, come on now. I mean, I don't know. What do you do? Swim the English Channel? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's weird, man. It's just there's a lot of weird stuff. Let's see. Sean Russ says, I was part-time too for a few years ago in a small town near Fort Smith. We had 2 patrol cars. So you know what I'm talking about, man. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. I will tell you, man, one night, and I know we're getting off topic here, but one night I was on patrol really late and driving through the school parking lot doing checks, and my car breaks down. My patrol car does. And so I call my chief, and I'm like, hey, chief, our car broke down. And this is what he told me, no joke. He goes, listen, lock it up and walk home. I was like, what? Lock it up, tell dispatch that you're 10-7 and walk home. So I did. So anyways, yeah, I got more stuff like that. But anyways, we'll get back to some of these. I think you got more missing 411 stuff to talk about, don't you?
I do. I got 2 more. I think I got 2 more. Do I have 2 more?
All right.
Let's see.
We'll see. Well, it's we've been on for an hour and 46 minutes. So we got time for a couple more, but
are you sure?
I'm almost out of coffee. So pick your favorite one.
I'm almost out of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Okay, so I'll just pick this one. This one takes place again. Like I said, a lot of these are old. This is Roger Shadinger. He went missing May 27th, 1951, around noon in Truckee, California. He was 9 years old. You have been there?
Yep, been to Truckee. It's beautiful.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now. So this happened in 1951. There was a Class A sighting of a Sasquatch in the fall of 1956 and a Class B encounter in 1986 in that exact area.
Wow.
And in the Nevada County, there was 11 reports. Okay.
There it is again, man. It is again. Yeah.
So Truckee is approximately 9 miles northeast of Lake Tahoe and is famous for being a town adjacent to where the Donner Party spent its horrific winter from 1847 to 1848. The town of Truckee has an elevation of 5,817 feet, but as you move west and out of the city, the elevation quickly rises. In 2010, the population of Truckee was 19,151, with many more people. What do we got? Oh, Sweet Lou, my bro from work, just became a member.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's awesome, dude. That's really awesome. Thank you.
So I'm not going to get into the whole details about what Truckee is like and what the whole thing is, but let's see here. Location or fishing was an elevation. Okay, so apparently he was out with, at approximately noon, Harry and Roger were fishing in a small and easily accessible Adler Creek just on the northwest edge of Truckee. The location where they were fishing has an elevation of 6,600 feet and sits just on the edge of the vast wilderness to their northwest. Harry is Roger's brother. I'll just throw that out there. The region where they're fishing had a large meadow and several tall and large pine and Douglas fir trees. Harry soon realized that he hadn't seen Roger and just started calling his name and searching for him. Adler Creek is a small, long creek that slowly meanders towards Truckee, and as it travels downstream. Just as Harry was realizing he couldn't find his boy. Sorry, Harry was his dad. I'm sorry.
You good, man?
Find his boy. He started for calling out for assistance. Placer County Sheriffs and Truckee Police responded to assist in the search for Roger. Hundreds of community members, deputies, police officers, firefighters were all looking for the boy. They had a search area where the Shandlings were fishing and were positive that Roger was nowhere in the area. They continued yelling and screaming for the boy, but didn't produce any results. 28 hours after Roger disappeared and 1,000 feet higher in elevation, a special Indian tracker had been brought in by the sheriffs. Archie Hicks from Stillwater, Nevada, was hot on the heels of Roger. Archie was in an area where search criteria indicated that Roger probably would not be higher in elevation and 5 miles from the point of where he is last seen. Archie found Roger alive and in a bush at an elevation of 7,600 feet, 1,000 feet higher in elevation than where he is last seen. Hicks had a short conversation with Roger and realized, or he asked him why he was in this location. A May 29, 1951 article in the Nevada State Journal had the following statement. He told them he had been hiding from the people. On the same day, there was an article in the San Mateo Times where Roger had stated he thought they meant to do him harm. It was never made clear of who the people were that he was hiding from. Some articles made the implication Roger was hiding from searchers, but that made zero sense. Since the side note, Roger was found barefoot.
The people?
Yep. Now, here's a side note. Roger was found just 9 miles east of the location where Dana Cooper, 13 years old and disabled, had disappeared in August of 1971. Okay.
Yeah.
Dana's story was a missing 401 in the Western United States book. Roger's location was also just 9 miles from where a 2-year-old James Bardenkreicher disappeared on the north shore of Lake Tahoe in June of 1965. James was never found. The region just west of where Roger was found has hundreds of small lakes, very similar to the area where Dana vanished. It also heard stories of small boys stating that they were hiding from the people who were following them. There's never any clarity in newspaper articles about the boys, where they were hiding from and who they were hiding from. So they just said the people.
That's wild, man. Hey, you know, and like you said before you told that story, I mean, there's sightings there. 11, right? Did you say?
There was an actual. Oh, we got AAO is now a member.
Hey,
thank you so much.
Awesome.
So in that Nevada County, there are 11 reports. And of those 11 reports, in 1956, in the fall of 1956, there was a Class A sighting. And for those of you who are not aware of what a Class A sighting is, a Class A sighting is an actual visual sighting of a Sasquatch. And then a Class B sighting was seen in 1986. So, yeah.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. You know, I mean, I know I've said that a lot, but like legitimately, what are you supposed to do with that? Like my brain goes right to, you know, I need answers, and it has to be related to that some way, somehow. And you know, somebody asked earlier, you know, why Bigfoot would take somebody, and you know, I think you gave a good answer, man. Like I think that the Native Americans talk about them eating people from their tribes and things like that. There's one story, a gentleman, I can't remember his name, really good guy, enjoyed talking to him, and he told his encounter, but he talked about in his heritage, there was an old Indian chief that this Bigfoot creature kept terrorizing their tribe. And he just kept, they kept having problems, and it would come into their tribe and steal their children. Like, that's what it was known for. And it would take these children off, and it would just, eat them. I mean, that's what they were known for. And so this guy's like, hey, he's like, I'm going to take care of this. And so he said that, I don't know how many generations back it was, but he said this was true in their tribe. This is the story that they told. But this Indian chief built this tent, this teepee, away from the rest of the tribe, and built this fire. So he got this big pot, and he put all this food in there, this food that he knew that would attract this Bigfoot. And he said it was a white Bigfoot, which really struck my interest because I've seen one. I saw a white one, right? And so it really resonated with me. I don't know if you ever looked it up or saw it, but if you look up white Bigfoot in Pennsylvania, go look that up. When we get off the stream here, it's really incredible. But anyways, so he says that he opened up the tent and he cooked all this food, and he just sit there and waited because he knew that this Bigfoot creature would come in to the property. And so he said this creature, he lured it in, and he could hear it outside the teepee. And he said he sat there and he waited, and you could smell this food that he was cooking in this hot boiling pot. And he said the next thing you know, this creature popped its head inside the tent, and he said that he took that pot and splashed it all over the Bigfoot creature, burned it, and the creature took off running into the night, and there was no more problems with this tribe. So, that kind of stuff goes way back. And, if you look at a lot of the stories that they tell, they do talk about it coming and taking children. And, it makes me wonder why a lot of these Bigfoot creatures peek in the windows, man. I don't know if you've studied that out much or researched a lot of that. But I know with your encounter, I mean, you looked at it, but you can't tell me. You saw handprints, right, where it was looking in the window.
Yeah, with that one, that happened in Graham, Washington.
Right.
And that was actually after we left the property. We'd been gone for quite a few months because that October, my dad had gotten a really bad car accident, and we had to move back to Tacoma for his care. And when we went back to get some stuff out of our trailer, our camper, I noticed that it looked like something was looking in the window, on all of the windows. And what was really intriguing, more so than anything, was on the back side of the camper and it was a fifth wheel. So the top of the fifth wheel, if you guys don't know what it looks like, it has like a top area, then kind of slants down, and that's where the truck goes underneath and hooks up to the fifth wheel. So up in that little area, there were two twin beds. And if you're looking head on at the fifth wheel, I slept on the right side, which was facing the woods, and my brother slept on the right side, or excuse me, the left side that was right, like looking over the deck my dad had built. And this is like probably 10 to maybe 12 feet up in the air, the windows are. And there was definitely this kind of like, you could see this part of the palm or whatever, and like the nose was pressed up against the window looking in, trying to see where we had been, because that's where I had my first sighting. And the interaction with my brother, myself, and my dad, there were peaceful interactions. There was no aggression except for one time. And other than that, it was just, they stayed inside the woods. I never saw them walk around or walk across our property, anything like that. But yeah,
that's wild, man. That's wild. That is so wild. And yeah, I mean, I know these things are curious, obviously, but it's weird. I don't know why they look in windows like that, but it makes you wonder if they do that to see. I've heard of a couple of encounters where, a kid will wake up and there's a Bigfoot sitting there motioning that kid to come closer to the window. And that's just like, that's the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night, because I mean, it makes you wonder, like, how many missing kids, like, all these different things. But I don't know. Michael Johnson's here. He says, great episode, stellar discussion. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. We, you never know what's going to happen in this podcast, man. We kind of get all over the place, but we have fun. We always talk about Bigfoot, cryptids, missing 411s, all kinds of stuff. But just to reiterate, guys, just so you know, 5 days left. If you join tonight or in the 5 days and you're a $2.99 member or above, you're going to get a welcome package from my wife. Sent to you guys in the mail. So if you join, make sure you email me at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com and send me your address so we can get that stuff sent out to you. We're going to be waiting till the end of the month to send that out. And we'll also make sure to let you guys know when we do send them out. You'll get an email letting you know. But, dude, thanks for all the work, man, putting that stuff together, man. I appreciate it.
Again, it was short notice. And it's the funny thing is, you and I, we always talk about, hey, let's get let's do this. Like, let's ask everybody in the chat right now. Question to you guys, okay? If we were to set up a schedule for lives, what would be like the best day for you, and how often would you like them? Now, some people may say, "Well, every single day." And as much as I would love to do a live every single day,
yeah,
I need time to prep.
You have to,
So, I mean, but like, what day, what time would you prefer? How would you want to be notified? That type of stuff, just kind of let us know. And yeah, I mean, we can go from there.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Cause it is work, guys. Like, we love doing this, but to do the stuff, and Daniel does a phenomenal job with the research and finding some of these stories, man. He's good at digging in and finding stuff. And we put all this stuff together because we want to do a good show for y'all. So, and we want you to know this is about you guys. So we are here to talk about this stuff, but to hear your thoughts as well. If you're new here, make sure to let us know in the chat. We will respond to you guys. Send us an email. We will respond. And if you've got an encounter, something you want to be read, something read on the show, let us know. Or if you want to come on the show, you can always email us at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. What is it? Once a week? Once a week.
It goes once a week. Hey, for once a week.
Yeah. Monday through Wednesday nights. Monday, Tuesdays. Already watched the show on Wednesday. Let's see. Hey, AAO says, thank you, Daniel Hamilton. You're doing an amazing job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Kimberly says Mondays and Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Monday is the day I drop the interviews. So Mondays are probably not a good day for us. We definitely, I'm trying to figure out, it seems like the later we go, Daniel, the more viewers we get. So it makes me wonder, but it
makes me wonder why you don't have a thermos of coffee.
Well, listen, I can only sit for so long. I think we've been going 2 hours and 2 minutes. It's been a lot of fun though, but I don't know. We need to set a schedule. We've not done that yet. Like, we need to set something, in stone. And what we might do at the very beginning is do 2 a month set in stone, and then throw in bonus episodes when we get a chance or something. But we need to get a schedule out there. Something I thought about today that would be cool to do is get an email deal going out. If you send us our email, we can kind of send you guys when we're going to be doing these shows and stuff. But anyways, Flower Child says, I'm free every time. I'm retired and love watching you guys. Love the stories. Thank you so much. I will say she's always here. She's watching the chat. She's always commenting. So we're glad you're here. Very glad you're here.
Did you see that Christopher is actually from Belgium as well?
I did not see that. I didn't see that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Christopher, I was born in Mons, Belgium, which is right outside Brussels. And a real quick story before we jump off of here, because I know he's probably out of coffee. So I was born in 1972 in Mons, Belgium, right? And I came back to the States before I was a year old. And then in 1991, I got stationed in Germany. And anybody who's in the military, there's a thing called MWR, Morale, Welfare, Recreation. And what it is, they put on tours and things like that. Well, we were going on a tour of Brussels, Belgium. And I didn't really realize the significance of being in Brussels real quick, And then I saw, just on day one, I saw a sign that pointed out of town, and it said Mons on it. And I'm like, holy crap, that's where I was born. So I got on a phone and pumped a bunch of Belgian francs, because this is way before the euro. I started pumping the phone full of Belgian francs, and I called my dad. And I go, Dad, guess where I'm at? He goes, you're in Europe. I go, yeah, I am. But I'm in Belgium right now. I'm in Brussels. He's like, oh, you were like, yeah, Dad, I know where I was born. I said, you wouldn't happen to remember the address of where I was born, where we lived. And he goes, oh, sure, it's this. And he gave me the address. I'm like, cool. So I told some people, I'm like, hey, you guys, I want to go to Mons. I was born there. And they're like, we don't have time. We only have time to hang out in the city or whatever. Well, I go up to this information booth to see if I can find a way to get a taxi to go to Mons. And this super hot Belgian girl spoke French. I didn't speak any French. She said that she got off in a couple hours and she would take me to Mons. I explained to her why I wanted to go. So she took me there, and I knocked on the door, and an old man answered the door. And what I had done is I knocked on the door of an old man and an old lady, and the person that answered it was my godfather.
Wow.
And so when I knocked on the door, she was trying to explain to him, she was speaking to him in French on what was going on. And my godmother came to the door, and she recognized, because I look like my mother, and she recognized me. She said, Dean and Brenda, and I'm like, holy smokes. And yeah, so we spent like 3 hours with them. We had a meal with them, and yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, it's
That's
small
really
world.
cool.
It's fantastic.
That's really cool. That's really cool. It's a small world, man.
Yeah,
it really is. You just never know. And that's so wild, man. But that's pretty cool. Very cool. Dude, that was a good one. That was a good show.
Hey, do you guys think it was a good show? I thought it was a good show.
I thought it was good, man. And it's always good when I get to hang out with you and talk about Bigfoot. So,
Hey, you know what I think we should do for our next show?
What's that?
Because Greg was talking about it earlier. The Kushtaka.
Boy, I don't know much about that, but we'll have to research it because I really don't know much about it.
Oh, I know about it, but I'll definitely do some more research on it. I'm telling you.
Do your thing. Do your thing because you're great at that. You're good at that. Well, I think people think it's good. Janet says amazing show. Our awesome show. Tough the Wander. Taff says amazing show. Kimberly gave us a thumbs up. So we got a lot of comments. So that's good. I mean, I'm glad you guys are hanging with us, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. We love doing this for you guys. It's a lot of fun. We get to hang out and just talk about a lot of stuff, and we're building a really, really cool community, and just grateful to be able to do this. We really don't take it lightly, and we appreciate you guys trusting us with your encounters and stories and for just hanging out with us tonight, man. But you got anything? I'm out. I'm done. You got anything else?
I do. Hey, so Greg says Fred from Alaska has info. So Greg, if you could please email Josh. I know you said you already have, but email Josh a way for me to reach out to Fred. I would love to reach out to him. Hey, thanks, Don C. The show didn't suck, guys. I appreciate that. But awesome. Yeah, Greg, if you could email Josh a way for me to get a hold of Fred, I would love to contact Fred and get a lot of information, because the two encounters my dad had with the Kushtaka, yeah, terrifying. Bye, yeah. Janet. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Appreciate the support.
I'm done, brother.
All right, man. Listen, guys, you know what I'm going to say. I can't get off here without saying it. It is so very, very important. A couple things. First, if you commented and we missed you, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. But secondly, most importantly, stay prayed up, guys. So very, very, very important. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.